The following recording is a Somali Society of Engineers presentation conducted on June 1st, 2025. Engineer Adam Hayow is a licensed professional civil engineer with over 11 years of experience in transportation planning and highway engineering. He currently serves as principal professional engineer for the city of Minneapolis, where he leads complex transportation projects at the municipal level for one of the largest cities in the United States. Engineer Adam holds a degree in civil engineering with a focus in transportation and highway engineering from the University of Minnesota. In addition to his technical and professional background, Engineer Adam Hayow was a founding member of the Somali Society of Engineers and currently serves on the SSC Board of Directors.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I'm presenting in English language. So also we have Rashid here, who's our head engineer. I don't know why Rashid should be presenting this, not me, but I'll do my best today to present one of our projects at the city of Minneapolis, inshallah. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. And Rashid, please jump in to help, explain things in Somali or whatever you want to explain as well. That would be great, inshallah. So I'll start with thank you for being here today. Before I begin my presentation, I wanted to briefly introduce myself and the organization I work for. Hakeem did a brief intro. I'm a principal professional engineer with the city of Minneapolis. I've been doing this for, as Hakeem mentioned, for almost a little over 12 years now. I started my career as a graduate engineer for a local consulting firm. In the past 10 years, I've been working for the city of Minneapolis in the public works department. As you can see from this picture, this is a picture of Minneapolis downtown where I work. I work for the whole city, but my office is located in the downtown area here. Minneapolis has around 430,000 residents. This year's city budget was around almost $2 billion. Out of the $2 billion, public works accounted for 25% of that. So roughly $450 million we have for public works projects, streets, water, other projects. I'll get into that. Kind of shows you Minneapolis, we're not a big city, but we're a mid-level city. Rashid's from Chicago, which is a much bigger city than Minneapolis. Our city is not small, it's not big, it's somewhere in between. Minneapolis Public Works, where I work for, we have 8 departments. The one on the top left is our fleet services. So they fix all our vehicles or all our trucks for the city. The second one is solid waste and recycling. So all the qashin and garbage from Magado, they take care of that for us, all the garbage and recycling for the city. The next one is surface water and sewer. So all the storm water and sanitary for the city, that we have a department for that takes care of that. Traffic and parking services. So all the traffic signals, lighting, striping, signs, they have a department for that. The next one is my department, where I work, transportation, engineering, design. I'll talk more about that in the next slide. Next is the transportation maintenance and repair. So in Minneapolis, we have a lot of snow during the winter. So we have a department that takes care of snow plowing. In the summertime, we have, potholes. They also fix potholes and street repair as well. And the last two are transportation planning and programming, which they do the city's, planning CIP, the capital infrastructure program, kind of developing projects for the future. And then finally, one of the more important departments is our water department. So all the water we drink in Minneapolis, they take care of treating that and distributing it throughout the city. My specific department is transportation engineering design. I am a manager in this department, so I oversee engineers and technicians. Our responsibility is to design streets, construction engineering oversight, bridge design and bridge construction, survey, and material testing. So we're kind of more the design and engineering for street and bridge projects. So today I'm here, I'll be sharing an overview of one of our major projects I'm currently managing, the Hennepin Avenue South Reconstruction Project. This project involves reconstructing one of the busiest streets in the city of Minneapolis, a very complex and challenging project. I'll walk through the 3 main phases of the project, which are planning / preliminary engineering, final design and construction. The first phase of planning and preliminary engineering I'll cover. I have this diagram showing kind of the priority for the city and public works. Anytime we work on a street project, we have this little, I guess, triangle pyramid priority list showing what's the biggest priority. The biggest priority for all our projects is pedestrians, people that walk, older people, people with disabilities. That's our number one priority in terms of, for our street design, making sure we have a space for these folks to use the street. I know back in the day, the biggest emphasis has been only on for cars and vehicles and trucks. Minneapolis, our number one priority is people walking and people with disabilities. That's our number one emphasis on our street design. Second is transit, as well as they call it micro mobility, people that take scooters or bikes or take the bus. That's our number two priority, is finding a space and facility for those users. So this goes back to the terminology of you guys. I'm not sure if you heard multimodal. Our streets are not just for cars. There are different modes of transportation that we emphasize. So that's number two, transit and bikers and people that use scooters. Third is vehicles, which is obviously important. We want our streets to have vehicles. People have businesses. They want to, get around the city. So providing lanes of traffic is also important. And finally, the least priority is our larger semi trucks. We're not going to design all our streets for these larger trucks. There are certain corridors where we have larger trucks that we need to design for, but it's at the bottom of our priority. Okay, Hennepin Avenue itself. Hennepin Avenue is roughly 1.4 miles. What is I got to figure out the kilometers. I think it's like, I don't know, 2.3 kilometers of street reconstruction. In America, we use the imperials, whatever, not the metrics. So Hennepin Avenue, it starts on the south end, Lake Street, and all the way north to Douglas Avenue. So pretty long stretch in Minneapolis. Project schedule, timeline. We started this project in terms of planning in 2018. Today is 2025? So 7 years ago, we started the planning of the project. We spent almost 4 years or 5 years planning and doing preliminary engineering for the project. And we finalized the planning, and we have a design that we started in 2022, the summer. So the last 2022 and 2023, we did final design engineering, and we started construction in 2024. So we finished the first phase of construction last year. We are in the last year of construction in 2025. So the project will be completed this year, inshallah. Preliminary engineering. So obviously, this is very basic stuff. As engineers, when we start planning a project, we look at several things. Number one is survey. We do soil boring, traffic and park analysis, utility coordination, cost estimation, and engineering feasibility of design options. I'll go through each one here. I have a slide for each of these topics. Number one, survey. You cannot do any street project or any construction project without survey. That is the kind of the foundation of all of our engineering projects. You need a topography survey of existing conditions so you can start your design effort. So in Minneapolis, in my group, we have 4 survey crews. So we have around 12 people that do survey in my group that I oversee. They go out there, there's 2 types of survey. One is topography. You do existing condition, right? You survey all whatever you can see out in the street. And also we do construction staking. Once we do construction, you need to know where the curb line is, the sidewalk, the building corners, utilities, manholes. So you need to have everything identified for construction staking. So that's the first step, is we do survey work when we start our project. Second is soil borings. We need to understand the soil condition for the street. So soil boring is very important to understand the soil profile so you can design your road, right? So if you have bad soils, you have to put that into your design. So we go down 15 feet underneath the pavement section to identify the soil condition underneath the street. to if it's sand or clay or other types of soils, so that we can use that for designing the street, which is very important, as well as stormwater infiltration. We do a lot of we have a stormwater ordinance, Minneapolis rules. And in order to treat the stormwater, you have to know what the soil condition is of the corridor. Hennepin Avenue existing condition. This is before construction started. Hennepin has 4 traffic lanes, 2 in each direction, northbound and 2 southbound. And we have parking, street parking on both sides. And then we have roughly 13, 14 feet of a sidewalk behind the curb. So this is the existing condition. And the right-of-way of the road is 88 feet. So when I say right-of-way, that's what the city owns, which is from the building face to the building face where the city has the street. That's 88 feet wide. So that's the space we have going into design and understanding what can we do to redesign the street. So this is existing condition. Hennepin Avenue, before construction, we have around, depending on where you're at along the corridor, we have between 800 and 3,400 people walking the street every day. We have 6,660 transit riders, so people taking the bus system along the corridor. And we have roughly 200 to 300 people biking along the corridor. And there's 400 buses that use the corridor on a daily basis along Hennepin Avenue. And finally, in terms of cars, there's 15 to 31,000 vehicles every single day that use the corridor along Hennepin Avenue. So during preliminary engineering, to get an understanding what's happening, existing conditions, we do a parking study to see what is the capacity for parking. I'm not going to get into too much detail here, but you can see this little table here on the bottom right. There's 342 existing parking spaces along Hennepin Avenue. On the side streets, there's 450 cars parked there. And then for private parking, private businesses and buildings, they have roughly almost 3,000 vehicle spaces for their property businesses. So total 3,600 parking spaces along the corridor, public and private parking available. Something very important is when we do our projects, we look at crash study. So one of our goals is to improve safety along the corridor. Number one is pedestrian safety, people and also cars and bikes using the corridor. So we do analysis of all the intersections. So there's 10 intersections here. You can see, West Lake Street, Lagoon, and all the way up to Douglas on the north side here. We have 10, actually more than 10 I think 12 intersections. We do a study of how many accidents happen over like a period of time, 5, 10, 15 years, how many accidents happen at these intersections. And the ones in red are more significant cases of accidents happening, either pedestrians being hit by cars, cars hitting each other, cars hitting bikers, or cars damaging property. So there's different level of accidents we catalog, we record. Green is very low amount of crashes, and then yellow is mild, moderate. I don't have the exact figures, but it just give me a high level of, if you see red, that's pretty bad. Green is not too bad. So you can see there's several locations along the corridor where we have either red, which is bad, or yellow, which is a moderate level of crashes along the corridor. So as engineers, we all know people, when they look at the street, they always see what's above the ground, right? The pavement, the sidewalks and stuff like that. But as engineers, we know there's a lot of things happening underneath the streets, especially for a big city like Minneapolis. There's a lot of utilities we have to deal with in Minneapolis. So this is an example of a cross section showing you all the stuff that we have to account for in our design. So for example, on the left side here, we have gas. We have electric conduits that feed all the city of Minneapolis electricity, power. We have communications like your fiber, your internet, everything else, fiber communications underneath the street. We have water main, Minneapolis distribution water mains that serve all the buildings and properties water. We have sanitary systems, like the buildings, the sanitary that comes from it. There's pipes that come from there. There's stormwater. We have to drain the streets and collect all the stormwater. Um, there's traffic lighting, electrical for the signals and street lights, cables for that, conduits. And then also what's unique about Minneapolis is it's an older city. A lot of these buildings, they have something called areaway. Areaway is it's a basement that's connected to the building that goes underneath the city sidewalk. For example, you see the sidewalk on the top here. Underneath the sidewalk, we have a basement that goes into the building. So, for example, once you're during construction, if you take out the sidewalk, you'll see some people working in the office underneath the sidewalk, so which is very dangerous. So we have to figure out all the areaways and work with the building managers to address it during construction. So anyway, there's more utilities than this, but there's a lot of stuff happening underneath the street that you have to design for. You have to coordinate either with the private companies or public utilities with our public works departments. So there's a lot of coordination we have to do in the preliminary engineering and final design of the project. And then finally, cost estimate for the city, for the mayor's office, the budget office. They want to know how much is your project, what is the cost, because they need to take that cost and put it into the mayor's budget every year. So, for example, they'll say, Adam, what's the preliminary estimate for Hennepin Avenue? So in the beginning of the project, there's different milestones: 0%, 15%, 30%, 60, 90, and final estimate. We give this information to our planning division. So every year they can update the budget or the cost for the project. So make sure we have enough money to pay for the project. So this is a preliminary estimate, I believe, from 2018. So this is when I started the project. No, 1 second. 2020, sorry. So this is 5 years ago. When I was working on the project, I gave a 5% estimate of the project. So this is a very high level estimate. It's not too detailed, but you can see you give your paving, grading costs, remove sidewalk, remove pavement, remove curb, all these different removal items, utility work, storm sewer, storm, green infrastructure, hydrant, erosion control, your traffic items, signal, lighting, striping. So it's a high level estimate. So I told them, if you add 20% contingency, $26 million. I'll tell you about the final estimate. The final estimate actually was $52 million. I started with 26 million, but the final estimate for construction was $52 million. So you have to keep giving these estimates to the budget office so that every year they can fund the project. Okay, so how I open house. Anaka, our design, we can't just design based on what we like. We have to work with the community. So every project, how you have to do an open house. You have to invite the public to come and talk about the project to get their input and feedback. So this is a picture of an open house. You can see there's a lot of Adan people here you have to work with to get their feedback on the project. So for Hennepin Avenue, we did 4 open house meetings, one in April 2018. We did one in fall of 2020, 2021, and 2022. So we had over 10,000 comments or feedback about the project. And so sometimes, for example, they might have businesses, right? The business say we want parking. We have a bicycling community. They want bike lanes. So everyone has their own, like what they want or don't want on a project. So we have to take all that feedback from the public. So based on all the feedback we received, this is what we recommended to so for our project for the design, we have to take it to the city council, the mayor's office to approve the design. So we took this design to the mayor's office to approve based on all the feedback we received. So I just want to show you one block example here. So we have 1 lane of traffic. Remember before I showed you there's 4 lanes of traffic, 2 in each direction. We took 1 lane out. So we only have 1 lane of traffic going north and 1 lane going south. We have this red lane on the outside is for only buses. Buses can use it going northbound and southbound. So buses only. And then on the east side here, this gray area with the yellow dash is our bike facility. We have a two-way bike facility on the east side of Hennepin Avenue. And then also these green areas are for boulevard grass area. And then finally on the outside, this light creamy color is sidewalk. I'll show you another cross section here. Oh, yeah, this is a better one to look at. So we had 4 travel lanes for vehicles. We took out 2. We only put 1 lane in each direction. And then we have our buses on the outside lane going north and southbound. And then we have a 12 to 14 foot bike facility, 2 direction. And then we have some space for trees and green space, and also sidewalk, 8-foot sidewalk on both sides of Hennepin Avenue. So this is the base cross section for the project that we went to council, and it was approved by council. All right. The second phase of the project is once you have your layout, your design approved by council, you start the final design and engineering so you can be ready for construction. So this is an example construction plan set that we have for the project. It's a big project. We have, if you look at the bottom corner here of the title sheet, we have 591 plan sheets. So it's a very thick, very big plan set for construction. So the plan set, it tells the contractor how to construct the project, all the details about the design and how to build it for the contractor. And then we have a lot of signatures, we have people signing it, the public works directors, the state of Minnesota, the federal government. I'll talk more about the budget as well. But this is a sample plan title sheet from the project. Here's another plan sheet here. It's our paving plan. So I'll quickly explain this. So the top part here is the removals. So everything that needs to be removed on this block is shown. You can see that we're removing trees, removing the pavement, the curb and gutter, the driveways, the light posts, everything you have to quantify because everything has a cost associated with it. So you have to show everything that's being removed from the project site. And this table here, it quantifies, it explains, okay, we have how many trees? We have 9 trees are being removed. We have 1 bench being removed. So this information is needed for the contractor to do their work, also to provide a cost to do the work as well. And then the bottom is what we are proposing, what's new. After you remove everything, what are we gonna put back in place? So we have our new pavement, sidewalk, the bike facility. We have a center median here we're putting in as well. So this is also quantified in terms of proposed work, proposed costs as well. So this is just an example shown from our plan set. Just a high level review of the design aspects. I try to convert it to kilometers, not miles. So we have 2.3 kilometers of new bituminous pavement, so asphalt pavement, not concrete. We have 2.3 kilometers of new concrete sidewalk. We have 1.8 kilometers of we use concrete for the bike lanes, not asphalt. So black ice, black concrete bike lanes. We have 10 new traffic signals and 60 new street lights. We have 1,800 meters of new sanitary sewer pipes, 6,200 meters of new storm sewer pipes, and we have 310 meters of new water main we installed on the project. And we also, there's a bridge over the trail. There's a bridge on the project, Midtown Greenway Bridge. We did not reconstruct it. We modified. We made some modifications on the bridge deck of that bridge there. Just some other highlights. Minneapolis, they love trees here. Trees are very important. So we tried to avoid taking down trees, especially the bigger, more mature trees. So during design, we looked at all the trees. There's 191 existing trees. We were able to protect 142 trees. And we've also installed 110 new trees. So Minneapolis, they love trees. They want to put more trees in and also save trees. So trees are very important. Some of these trees are more than 100 years old or 200 years old, very old trees. Budget. I mentioned our 5% estimate was like 26 million. But the final, oh, sorry, I made it clear. Okay, 52 is overall. Okay, so our final construction estimate was $36 million. We finished the first half of the project last year. So roughly $18 million of payment to the contractor, which if you do the math, the average was every month from April to December, we're making $2 million payment to every month for the work to the contractor. And then the overall project cost is $52 million. So the difference between 36 and 52 is the design engineering. So it's all the design and survey and planning and all that stuff is around $16 million just to design the project. It's $16 million and all that effort. So 36 million is construction, 16 million is design, and total project cost is $52 million. And then the project funding source, where's that money coming from? 14% comes from the federal government. So Donald Trump is paying for 14% of that. Or not, actually it was Biden, now Trump. But 35% is from the MSA, which is state of Minnesota fuel tax. So Minnesota pays 35% of that. 6% is from the property owners. So the people living on Hennepin, they pay 6% of that cost, of the cost for the project. And the rest of the is city Minneapolis cost. The city Minneapolis, they tax Anshurt al-Ghada from the city. We pay that cost for the project as well as utility costs. So that covers the funding sources for the project. Finally, construction. We started construction last year. Before I go into construction, this place, the Hennepin Avenue, has a lot of different types of properties. There's a lot of businesses. There's residential properties, apartments, houses. There's a lot of different types of properties along the corridor. So Minneapolis, I don't know, we can't just go there and do construction. You have to do, they call it public engagement. You have to talk, you have to communicate what's happening and give the people a notification of the project that's coming. So Hennepin Avenue, before we started construction, we mailed out these on the right side here. You can see it's a flyer talking about when construction will start, how to get information about the project, showing a map of the project. We have a project website that we have a lot of information on in terms of design and construction. And then every single Friday during construction, every week, every Friday morning before Jum'ah, we hold a stakeholder meeting for the people on Hennepin to come and to ask questions. We give them information about what's happening the next 3 weeks, what they can anticipate in terms of impacts, all that stuff. So we do that every single Friday morning for the stakeholders along the corridor. And then also we send out these weekly updates showing what's happening block by block. So this is kind of like sample one here, but this actually construction ended last year, so there's nothing's happening here. But we show them what's happening in terms of Lake Street to 26, what to expect, and how to join the project webpage, and how to contact me. I'm the project manager, Adam Hayow here. So every single day I get phone calls and emails, people complaining, hey, you're blocking my driveway, the different type of complaints. So I call them back and try to work with the businesses and property owners to address their concerns. So this is communication, right? We also, I'll skip this one here. Construction. So this is last year, we started April 2024, construction, phase 1. So construction, you can't just shut down the whole street. They need access to their businesses, to their properties. So we do the work in halves, right? We keep one half of the street open while we do the other half, just to make sure people, vehicles, people have access to their businesses. Because Minneapolis, we cannot shut down access to properties. We can't do it. It's illegal. They need, like Walgreens, there's a business here. They have a driveway. They need access to their driveway. If it's an apartment, they need access to their apartment. So we have to maintain access to their businesses and to their properties. So here, like for example, this block here, we're putting a deep sanitary, sanitary pipe and manhole, which is 30 feet deep. So you can see, for safety purposes, you have to put excavation box so the people can work in there. And right next to it, we have traffic, cars coming in. So I think I have another picture here. Yeah. So you can see this is 30 feet deep. I don't know how many meters is that. It's deep. Okay. You can see the guy here. He's down here. You see the ladder, how high it is. So they're doing work on the sanitary manhole here. And they constructed this, they call it a cell. It's pretty much a big box here. So the soil and the road does not collapse onto the workers. So it's for safety purposes, so they can do the work. Here's some photos of the sanitary pipes being installed by the contractor. It's very deep and kind of dangerous, but they do the work in a safe condition. Here we're putting in some storm storage structures as well. Storm is not that deep. It's probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 feet deep, 8 feet deep, depending on the location. I mentioned the bridge modification. So we milled and overlaid the concrete bridge, the deck. The construction workers doing that. Here is Excel Energy. So we work with the electricity company. They're putting in new electric duct package. So they're putting 6 electrical conduits into the street. Actually, this is pretty unique. They're putting the conduit into the bridge deck as well. So it's kind of pretty unique to me. But yeah, they're putting a conduit into the bridge deck through to cross the bridge to the other side. Here you can see the intersection on the left side. We're putting a new signal and light at the intersection. When we do intersection work, we still need to maintain the signal. So what we do is we take a temporary signal, a wood post. So we put this wood post out here and put a temporary signal while we construct a new signal at the intersection. On the right side here is some photos of the construction happening. I think they're putting in some traffic conduits or fiber conduits behind the curb. And on the right side, you can see they're they're paving asphalt there. Yeah, they're doing. This is a paving day. They're paving the asphalt. They're compacting it. There's another photo here, compacting this. When they're doing this work, we have our materials group here. They test the asphalt for density, make sure it's dense and make sure it's poured, placed properly. So we monitor that, our construction inspection team. Another photo here of the asphalt being paved. A lot of photos here. Sorry, too many asphalt photos being compacted here. Here's the asphalt that's done and the bridge work that's done. We have our new city lights. They're 30 feet high. You can see this is the bridge over the Midtown Greenway. Here is our new bikeway. I mentioned the black concrete bike facility. So we make a different color from the sidewalk so people are not confused. So the black concrete is for the bikers, people that bike. And then the concrete on the gray concrete is for pedestrians to walk, so sidewalk. And in between, we have this tactile strip, we call it. So people that have disabilities, we want to make sure that they stay on the sidewalk and not cross over into the bike lane. So these are like truncated domes so that when they walking, people that are blind, they can touch it to know, hey, this is danger. I got to stay within the sidewalk. There's a street or a bike lane coming in. And then, yeah, also we're planting trees here. You can see a new sod and grass behind the curb. Here's another look at the new trees and the street lights and the sidewalk and the bike lane. Here's a bus stop. So we have bus stops, bus stations. So these are called shelters. So people, they wait in these shelters for the buses to come. They have lights and heat and everything. So Minnesota is very cold. So these shelters, they have some heating so people can stay there and be warm while they wait for their bus to come. Here is, so we have parking. Some location we have parking. This is a parking station. So people, you have to pay money to park here. So parking is not free. A lot of places you have to pay for parking. You put money in here, either credit card or coins, and then you can park on the street. We also, people that are biking, they can park their bikes here on these little racks. and while they go and visit or go into the businesses. Yeah, here's a look at kind of construction almost done here. You can see we saved all these big trees. We're able to save those. We have our sidewalk, our new street here. Here is a drone footage of the new street that we finished last year, phase one. You can see we have one lane of traffic in each direction, and then we have bus lanes on the outside and sidewalk and the bike facility. So this is kind of a nice drone photo of the project after we completed it last year. Here's some other pictures of the finished work from last year on Hennepin Avenue. We got the street striping done as well, the yellow striping and the dashes. Here's a higher footage of the street. You can see this is Lake Calhoun on the north side. We have nice lakes in Minneapolis. You can see all the buildings, right? It's a very commercial area along this stretch of Minneapolis. Here's another photo. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, that's all I have. Sorry, that was very fast. Any questions?
This marks the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening, and if you would like to learn more or get in touch, please visit us at somalieNgineers.org.